Everyone. Welcome back to Way It Gets Better. This is episode 33. Now, today's topic is about National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. I've had this topic planned out for like the past week and a half. Now, this is my only story time for today because this topic is something other than myself. I'm not going to use this to talk about myself because I lack the intersectionality to even sit here and make that topic about myself. It's about raising awareness, being an ally, and sharing my resources with this platform. But let me just give you the only story time I'm doing today is just to explain where I've been. I've been MIA. I really am passionate about doing this, so I did not push anything out this week because I didn't want to, because I was being lazy. It's basically because I was really in a lot of physical pain and I couldn't sit at my desk and do this as much as I wanted to. Like, trust me, the whole week I was thinking about, oh my God, like, I had all these goals in mind. I had 3 topics picked out for the whole week. I had the house to myself. I was cooking good. I was really doing great. And then all of a sudden the universe was like, here's sciatica. And it's just frustrating because I really had things I wanted to accomplish. I had laundry, I had cleaning to do, and just being out of commission for a few days is just so frustrating. But I'm going to be more consistent now that I'm feeling better. God willing, I'm not going to make any promises because I made promises the last time. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be more consistent. I have 3 topics coming up for you. And this happened. So like I said, you never know if something's going to come up that's going to really throw a wrench in things. So I'm going to attempt to be more consistent as much as I want to. I really do. I'm very passionate about this. And I don't not do it unless I'm busy or else I have things going on. But now things have slowed down. I'm not going to use the excuse, oh, it's summer, I want to enjoy myself. No. Like they always say, Beyonce has 24 hours in a day and she still gets things done and does things. Like, what makes you think as a regular Joe Schmo you're any different? So, like I say, I always think of that meme. I'm like, okay, that's very true. So how am I so busy that I can't just take my time out of my day to put something out? But I do have 3 topics picked out for this next week. It's going to be very sporadic because this is the first day I'm actually feeling so much better. I'm actually going to cook for myself later. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be back on track. But so today's topic is going to be about National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Next topic is going to be about Disability Pride Month. And then the next topic, I want to talk about cinema and TV and mental health. I think that'll be I love cinema. I love TV. I think if I've talked about music, I can talk about, TV and movies and things like that. They kind of go hand in hand because they affect people in similar ways. But let's dive into the topic. No, I don't have the intersectionality to be able to sit here and use this episode, like I said, as story time. But what I can do is use this platform to check my privilege and share resources and be an ally. Now, how can we honor National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month? Now, this is the research, what it said. So now, to honor BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month, focus on education, advocacy, and support for the BIPOC community. This includes learning about the unique challenges they face, amplifying their voices, and promoting culturally sensitive resources. You can also support organizations dedicated to BIPOC mental health, volunteer, or advocate for policy changes. Now, here's a more detailed breakdown. Educate yourself and others. Learn about the unique mental health challenges faced by the BIPOC individuals. This includes understanding the impact of systemic racism, historical trauma, and cultural factors on mental well-being. Seek out resources and information from credible sources. Explore websites of organizations like Mental Health America, the Loveland Foundation, and BEAM, Black Emotional and Mental Health. Share information and resources with your network. Use social media, email, or conversations to raise awareness and encourage others to learn more, which is basically what I'm doing. So I'm advocating in some sort of way, and amplify BIPOC voices and experiences. Share content created by BIPOC individuals. Support and promote artists, writers, and mental health advocates from BIPOC community. Engage in respectful dialogue and active listening. Create a space for BIPOC individuals to share their experiences and perspectives without judgment, and use your platform to amplify their voices. Share their stories, art, and resources with your followers. Support culturally sensitive mental health services. Seek out and promote mental health professionals who understand BIPOC cultures. Look for therapists and counselors who are BIPOC themselves and who have experience working with BIPOC communities. Support organizations that provide culturally tailored mental health services. Consider donating to or volunteering with organizations that focus on serving BIPOC communities and advocate for increased access to affordable and culturally relevant mental health care. Support policies that address disparities in mental health care access and funding. And practice self-care and encourage others to do the same. Prioritize your own mental health and well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation and connection. Encourage others to prioritize their mental health. Check in with friends and family. Offer support and remind them that it's okay to seek help, which is what I always do. I seek help myself, and I think it's great for other people to do the same. And I'll always stand by that. Now, create a culture of support and understanding. Promote open conversations about mental health and reduce the stigma, which is my whole goal, is just reducing stigma, sharing my story, advocating for other people and communities, using my voice and platform to basically just reduce the stigma. It's my whole goal. I did it I can't even speak today. I did that at my internship in college with the Humanology Project. Now I'm doing that as an individual on my own, on my own terms, with my own platforms, and doing things to really amplify what I've always set out to do. It's my passion. So, and also what it says is advocate for systemic change, support policies that address systemic racism and its impacts on mental health, and advocate for changes in education, healthcare, and criminal justice systems. Support organizations working to dismantle systemic barriers. Donate to or volunteer with organizations that are working to address social and economic inequalities. And be an ally in the fight for racial justice. Challenge your own biases, educate yourself on issues of racial injustice, and work to create a more equitable society. Now, I just wanted to educate myself and you guys on this topic and really learn more about BIPOC and mental health. Now, here's what more research said. So this is what BIPOC stands for. Black, Indigenous, and people of color individuals often face mental health disparities, experiencing higher rates of mental health conditions and lower rates of treatment compared to their white counterparts. These disparities are often rooted in systemic issues like racism, discrimination, and lack of access to culturally competent care. The key I cannot talk. The key statistics and disparities. Higher rates of distress. Black adults are 20% more likely to report serious psychological distress than white adults, and lower treatment rates. Only a fraction of BIPOC individuals with mental health conditions seek treatment. For example, this is what it says. In 2021, only 39% of Black African American adults, 25% of Asian adults, and 36% of Hispanic Latino adults with mental illness were treated, compared to 52% of non-Hispanic white adults. Specific populations at risk: Native American, Native and Indigenous Americans experience higher rates of PTSD and alcohol dependence. LGBTQIA+, BIPOC individuals face unique challenges with lower rates of diagnoses and treatment for depressive disorders compared to LGBTQIA individuals overall. Stigma and cultural barriers. Cultural stigma surrounding mental illness, lack of culturally competent care, and systemic barriers like poverty and lack of insurance contribute to the problem. Now, with the whole lack of insurance issue, that now there's a whole bill that just passed that, it took away at literally anybody, like 16 million Americans, healthcare, which really scares me and worries me. And I don't even want to dive into it because I want to use this as a space to raise awareness for this topic. I don't even want to get into that because I don't want to stress anybody out to even think about it. But when I just said that line, I was like, oh my god, I I don't even want. Okay, let's just change the topic. Now, factors contributing to the disparities: racism and discrimination. Systemic racism and discrimination can lead to stress, trauma, and mental health challenges. Lack of access to care. Individuals may face barriers to accessing mental health services, including lack of insurance, limited availability of providers, and transportation issues. Cultural stigma. Cultural beliefs and stigma surrounding surrounding mental illness can prevent individuals from seeking help, and a lack of culturally competent care. Inadequate training and representation of BIPOC mental health professionals can lead to misdiagnosis and ineffective treatment. The need for change. Addressing the mental health crisis within the BIPOC communities require a multifaceted approach that includes increasing access to culturally competent care. This includes training more BIPOC mental health professionals and ensuring that mental health services are culturally sensitive and responsive to combating the stigma. And raising awareness about mental health and challenging stigma within the BIPOC communities is crucial. Addressing systemic barriers, efforts to address poverty, discrimination, and a lack of access to the resources are essential for improving the mental health outcomes and promoting community-based support, leveraging community-based resources and supporting systems that can play a vital role in promoting mental wellness by recognizing and addressing the unique mental health needs of the BIPOC communities. We can also work towards creating more equitable and supportive environment for all. So now that I've educated not only myself, but those that took the time to listen and really want to be educated, now listen. I know a lot of people probably, if they do listen, a lot of it is based on the story time that I give. But I really wanted to use this topic today. Like I said, I lack the intersectionality with this topic. I want to educate myself and I want to educate others on this. So it raises awareness. And if you got bored and you stopped listening, so be it. There's somebody out there who actually does want to listen. So that's why I'm doing it. And I'm not just doing it, for any other reason than raising awareness. So now, BIPOC mental health resources encompass a wide range of organizations, directories, and support systems dedicated to addressing the unique mental health needs of Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities. These resources often focus on culturally relevant support, reducing stigma, and increasing access to mental health care for these communities. National organizations and directories. So let me give some resources for you guys. That's what I've been setting out to do. The Steve Fund. The Steve Fund focuses on the mental health and emotional well-being of young people of color. The Trevor Project provides crisis support and resources for the LGBTQIA youth, including those who are BIPOC. And National Alliance for Mental Health, which is NAMI, offers resources and support for individuals and families affected by mental illness, including specific resources for the BIPOC communities. The National Queer and Trans Therapists of Color Network. It connects individuals with therapists of color who specialize in the LGBTQIA plus community and their issues. And Inclusive Therapists, a directory of therapists who are committed to providing inclusive and culturally sensitive care. And there's also Therapy for Black Girls, an online space dedicated to the mental health and wellness of oh my god, what is excuse me, and I don't know what this says. This is so weird. Okay. Okay, let me restart that because I'm just reading the writing on these notes and it's like so weird. Therapy for Black Girls, which is an online space dedicated to the mental wellness of Black women and girls, including a directory of therapists. In the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective, BEAM, a nonprofit dedicated to creating a world where there are no barriers to Black healing, and the Loveland Foundation, which is one of my favorites, provides financial assistance to Black women and girls for therapy sessions. And also the Asian Mental Health Collective. It aims to normalize and prioritize mental health within the Asian communities. And We Are Native, a comprehensive health resource for Native youth. And I don't want to butcher this name, but I think it's the Coma Project. It's spelled. I'll say how it's spelled, so I don't want to butcher it. It's the AAKOMA Project. It focuses on mental health and suicide prevention for youth of color and the Black mental wellness. It offers information and resources on mental health topics relevant to the Black community. And the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation. It works to eradicate the stigma around mental health and in the African American community. And resources for specific groups. The Black LGBTQIA youth mental health. Resources from the Trevor Project. Therapy for the Latinx community. Aims to connect Latinx individuals. I think it's called Therapy for Latinx. Is it Latin? I don't know how to say that. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that. Therapy for the Latinx community, Latinx, I'm so sorry. Educate me. Somebody educate me. It aims to connect Latinx individuals with culturally competent therapists in the Indian Health Service Division and Behavioral Health provides mental health resources for American Indian and Alaskan Native communities, and the Strong Hearts Native Helpline, a culturally appropriate crisis line for Native Americans and Alaska Natives, and the crisis support, the 988 and Crisis Lifeline. Call or text 988 to connect with a trained crisis counselor, or crisis text line. I always give these resources, and I'll give them again. Text home to 741-741 to connect with a crisis counselor. Additional resources, we have the Mental Health America. It provides information, resources with a wide range of mental health topics, including BIPOC and mental health. And the NAP Ministry explores healing the power of napping for BIPOC communities. And Ourselves Black, it focuses on promoting mental health and positive coping mechanism for Black individuals. And I don't know how to say this. I'm so sorry, guys, if I'm reading these things. I have great intentions with this, but I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing things wrong. Like when I said the Latinx, I'm not saying that to be that's how I think it's being said. I've heard the word before. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering it, but this is the SIWE Project. I'll spell it out. The SIWE Project. It promotes mental health and awareness throughout the global Black community. And these resources also represent a starting point and to finding support and information. I'm so sorry, guys. I cannot talk today. Let me restart that. These resources that I just read represent a starting point for finding support and information related to BIPOC mental health. It's important to explore the specific resources that align with your individual needs and preferences. Now, people may be asking, how do I go about finding a therapist with culturally competent care? Besides all these resources that I gave, which is perfect because right now, like I said, we're living in a time where unfortunately there are a lot of bills being passed that cut that cut people's insurances. So these foundations and these resources are the perfect thing to help people when they're in need. But if you are able to find culturally competent care besides those resources, or you want to, this is how you go about it. Now, to find culturally competent mental health care, prioritize providers who demonstrate understanding and respect for diverse cultural backgrounds. This includes seeking recommendations from trusted sources like friends, family, or community organizations, and exploring online directories specializing in culturally sensitive care during initial consultations to assess the therapist's experience with your specific cultural background and their willingness to learn about your unique perspective. Now, here's a more detailed approach. Seek recommendations and referrals. Seek friends and family. Ask trusted individuals recommendations, especially those who share your cultural background and have experienced culturally competent providers. Now, cultural organizations contact community centers, religious institutions, or cultural groups that serve your specific background. They may have lists of therapists who are knowledgeable about your culture. And health insurance provider. Your insurance company can provide a list of therapists within your network who specialize in culturally competent care. Research and evaluate therapists. Online directories utilize special directories that focus on culturally competent therapists, such as Therapy for Black Girls, InnoPsych, Black Men Heal, PrideCounseling.com, and PolyFriendly.org. And website and online profiles. Review therapists' websites or online profiles for information about their experience with diverse populations and their approach to cultural sensitivity. Now, ask questions. During initial consultations, inquire about their experience working with clients from similar cultural backgrounds, their understanding of cultural nuances, and their willingness to adapt to their approach to your needs. Trust your instincts. Pay attention to how you feel during the initial sessions. Do you feel respected, understood, and comfortable discussing your cultural background with the therapist? And understand cultural competence in mental health. Cultural awareness, recognize that your culture shapes individuals and yourself, and beliefs and values and practices related to your mental health. And cultural sensitivity. Be aware of potential biases and assumptions that can impact the therapeutic relationship and cultural responsiveness. Adapt therapeutic approaches to meet the unique needs of individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds. And language proficiency. If language is a barrier, ensure access to professional interpretation services or therapists who speak your language, and consider factors beyond language, cultural values and beliefs. Inquire about how cultural values and beliefs might influence the client's understanding of mental health and their willingness to seek help. And social detriments of health. Acknowledge how social economic factors within clients' communities might affect their mental health, and also coping mechanisms. Explore culturally specific coping strategies and support systems that the client may rely on. And embrace cultural humility. Continuous learning. Recognize that cultural competence is an ongoing process of learning and growth rather than a fixed state. Openness to feedback. Be receptive to feedback from clients. Now, this is advice for the therapist on how to be more culturally competent. Be receptive to feedback from clients about their cultural experiences and how the therapist can better meet their needs. By following these steps, you can increase your chances of finding a therapist who can provide culturally competent mental health care that is both effective and meaningful for you. Now, like I said, this was a strictly educational topic today. I'm sure most people tuned it out, but I hope you listened. I did this mostly to raise awareness. It is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And like I said, I want to be an ally. I want to help people. I want to use this platform for good. And by doing this episode, I hope this helped people. Now, like I said, I want to touch back on this topic sooner rather than later, but I want to do it with somebody who does have the intersectionality to be able to tell a story. So I would dive more into this topic with somebody who has the experiences that they're able to relate to people. Like this, like I said, this was educational, but I want it to be more relatable in a sense where, like, I interview somebody who can tell you their story. So, eventually I will do that. Now, like I said, episode 34, I want to honor Disability Pride Month. And for episode 35, I will talk about cinema and TV and mental health. Now, if you or anyone you know is struggling, text HOME to 741-741 for a free confidential conversation with a trained counselor any time of day. Text or call 988 or use the chat function at the 988lifeline.org. Now, I'm going to keep sharing this until people actually, take this into account with all these policy changes and these bills being passed and these funding being taken from different, resources. the new lifeline for the LGBTQIA plus, besides the ones that are like the Trevor Project and things like that. It was given. This was given by specifically Canada due to it being taken away. There, it was. Like I said, I always talk about this. I don't know why they're doing that. It's ridiculous. But here's the number for that. It's 1-877-330-6366. 1-877-330-6366. Now, thank you for listening today. I hope this topic really helped some people and educated some people. It educated me, I do know that. Like I said, I lack the intersectionality to be able to sit here and be like, oh, so one time this happened. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use this to raise awareness, like I said. And I know I keep repeating myself. I'm really tired. I'm about to go nap. But yeah. So everybody, thank you for listening. Stay well. I'll see you in like a day or two, God willing. Please don't throw more sciatica my way. I swear, it was such. Let me be real with you guys. It was a struggle this week. Like, I was really enjoying. Imagine having the freedom to have a whole house to yourself, and you're really going. Everything's going great. You go to the dispensary and you get some things to really liven up your time because you're gonna be by yourself and you're using this time to really like take some time for yourself and your healing journey. And all of a sudden, it's just like wham! You get hit with like your sciatica triggers, and it's like you're out of commission. Using a walker to get to the bathroom, all that cooking you were doing and really living and enjoying yourself just goes out the window. And finally tonight, I have enough strength to sit and cook when I want to cook. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited. But thank you guys for listening. Stay well. I love you guys. Bye bye.